my name's Will, and this is my channel. I'm going to be revamping some videos and the channel itself, just to be kind of more of a everyday guy's concealed carry type channel. There's a lot of other channels that are better than mine and higher quality. I've got not so good equipment. I'm a blue collar worker, but I have been concealed carrying for almost 10 years now. Had formal training with a lot of firearm stuff. I've been in some competitions, won a few competitions, and I'm just kind of sharing some of the stuff, some of the tricks of the trades that I've learned. So this particular video is actually going to be on appendix carry. Appendix carry is kind of a controversial carry method, especially among people that are not necessarily formally trained on a firearm. And there's people that talk about it being inherently dangerous and not. So first and foremost, what I'm actually going to tell you is that appendix carry is dangerous. I'm not going to go ahead and beat around the bush about that. I think it is dangerous. You're pointing the firearm in a position that is a lot more conducive to major arteries and things in your body if you were to have a negligent discharge, either pulling out or going back into your holster. Now, that being said, the same thing can be said for any other specific carrying place. People talk about carrying at 3 o'clock, and that if you have a negligent discharge, you'll generally just shoot down here at your buttocks area. That's not necessarily the case. We don't really know what bullets do once they enter the body. They do a lot of weird things. So even if you do go ahead and shoot down and a bullet does enter into your rear, it could ricochet off a bone somehow and still hit your femoral artery. So we can't really be cocky about that kind of thing. Shooting yourself is never a good thing, and it's always a potentially fatal accident. So the safety measures in play with firearms and concealed carry are always to the utmost degree, no matter what position you're carrying in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start talking about several things. Again, hopefully the quality of my stupid laptop video camera is not that great, and I apologize. But as you can see here, I'm wearing a t-shirt and jeans. Okay, this is kind of my everyday attire. T-shirt is not necessarily really baggy. It's something that I kind of wear, and you really can't see a whole lot of printing. But basically, my firearm is totally concealed. And before we get safe here, we got snap caps here, and I'm operating with an unloaded pistol here, and we're using snap caps on both sides. So we're going to go ahead and do that and get that out of the way first. So anyway, let's talk a little bit about this. So a good holster is a must if you're going to conceal carry an appendix. I'm running right now the T-Rex sidecar holster, and what that does is that fits onto my my carry belt, which is another essential aspect to carry. Make sure that if you're going to conceal carry, you want to have a good sturdy gun belt. All right, so you're going to end up paying $60 to $80 for a good belt. The one that I carry here is just a hard duty 511 carry belt. The reinforced leather makes it so that you're not able to scrunch the belt or make it flex, so that's going to keep the weight of your firearm completely secure, and it's not going to flop around or bend or any other strange thing that a nylon, flimsy nylon belt or a cheap Walmart $9.99 leather belt's going to do. So a good belt's essential. To get back to the sidecar holster, I've been running this for several weeks right now, and this has been a great holster. As you can see, we've got strong Kydex here that's completely covering the trigger guard here. We've got a claw that's going to come out, and what this claw does is it presses against your belt and pushes the gun back into your body to keep it secure so that it's not going to move around or anything like that. So to put it in, I'm just going to slide the clips here onto my belt. It locks into place here, and I'm going to secure the belt tightly here, and then basically I've got a good rig to be able to carry my gun. And so when I'm carrying this in appendix, you're going to be able to see anything that I do here. I can walk and run. There's not a whole lot that's going to be moving around. This gun is secured to my body. Even if I'm going to actually fight, or if I'm in a situation where I have to move or kick or knee or something like that, that gun is still unmoving. So it's a good rig, I think, very, very good. I highly recommend it. There's a lot of really great appendix holsters out there, but for appendix carry, you're going to need a good appendix holster. There's no way about it. You can't really get away with getting a 3 o'clock style holster and wearing it in appendix. A lot of people that talk about appendix carry being uncomfortable and painful are really not using the right type of holsters for it. The right type of holster is essential for keeping your comfort level high and making it so that the gun is completely accessible, constantly in the same position over and over. So if I'm going to actually draw this pistol out, I want to have that consistent grip and that consistent place. I don't want it canting different places. So same thing with my mag. So for example, if I'm going to make a nice reload here, I want to be able to have that magazine consistently in the same place so that my body can reach it and it's constantly going to be there, so I can do it effectively and efficiently. All right, so as far as sitting down with an appendix carry holster with your firearm and appendix, there's really not an issue as far as sitting down is concerned if you're wearing the right type of holster and your gun is being worn in the proper manner. So I'll go ahead and I'll show you just basically the way to do it. All right, so sitting down with your holster, I'm basically, the holster will basically come down and it'll press the gun kind of inside to where when I'm sitting down, it's not going to be digging down into me or anything like that. It's stayed secure in a position where it's not going to move or press against anything that I don't want it to press against. Again, it's the holster that's doing that. So I want to reiterate that as much as possible, but you have to find the right kind of appendix holster to be able to be comfortable with appendix carry. A lot of people, when they're talking about this, they're nervous about seated down in this position, especially because if you were to have a negligent discharge here, if the gun, something was to go off, the barrel and the muzzle are pointed a little bit more into your vital parts. Now, firearms, unless they're made incredibly faulty, don't go off by themselves. The trigger has to be pulled. And when you have a nice quality firearm, okay, like a Glock, that's proven itself for decades as a reliable and well-made firearm, as long as it stays in that holster with the trigger covered, you're not going to have any kind of issue. The trigger doesn't magically pull itself. It's really going to happen to this gun, okay? There's no way that it's going to be going off. As far as the sitting itself is concerned, again, some people like to raise it up just a bit before they sit, and that gives them a little bit of extra comfort when they do that. I don't necessarily like to do that because I want to refrain from any kind of like touching or drawing attention to this spot if I'm going to do something or sit down or something like that in any public place. So if, again, this gun, if you have it done up in the right way and it's holstered in the right way with the right kind of belt, the right kind of holster, and the right size of firearm that's comfortable for you, you can sit down without any kind of issue. There's no real way that this is going to have any kind of problem. And you can still draw your firearm if need be, if there's a situation that warrants it. So being able to sit down with your appendix carry is not an issue if you're carrying the correct way. So let's talk about my actual draw and the way I actually draw from appendix. What I've found to be the best way for me to be able to get the gun out effectively and efficiently in the most consistent way. Now there's a lot of different ways that people do it. Some people will use just their thumb to hook underneath. They'll raise the shirt up and they'll come out. Some people will use just the 4 fingers to do that. Other people will take both hands, they'll lift the shirt completely and they'll do that. What I've found that works kind of the best for me is to kind of grab the shirt or the garment that I'm wearing here in the center, just right at the gun itself or kind of right above it, and just to pull straight up. And so I can do it from a hands up position here where I can just move it this way, or even from a downward position here, I can just completely put it straight up this way. And so I've found that the reason I like this consecutively the best is because I can do this same pull no matter if I'm wearing a t-shirt or a jacket or a buttoned up shirt or a pullover or whatever. So the draw is consistent throughout whatever garment that I'm wearing. All right, same thing if I'm wearing just a pullover. We can do a button-up shirt. This works well too, even if you're wearing something like a heavy jacket. So one of the more positive aspects of appendix carry that I like is concealability and speed. So I want to be able to present the gun and draw the gun in the quickest and most efficient way possible when I need it. And when I'm out and about, I want the ability to remain concealed and inconspicuous with it as much as possible. So when I'm bending over, I don't want guns printing out or sticking out. Now with appendix carry, it doesn't mean that you're not going to print whatsoever. The tighter your shirts are, or maybe the bigger your belly is, it's going to press an outline of this gun out to where you can see it. The way to combat that and to mitigate that kind of printing is to watch the tightness of your shirt around your midsection. It doesn't matter if you're in shape or if you're packing on some pounds. Shirts tend to be tight in certain areas. You can get shirts that are maybe tighter up in front and are a little bit looser on the bottom, and vice versa. The tighter your shirt material is around your waist side that clings to it, the more chance you get of printing your firearm, especially if it's windy and you're walking and the wind is blowing this way or flapping around. So it's one thing to keep in mind. Keep your shirts having a little bit of room, a little bit of real estate down here by the hip area. So it'll tend to really mitigate the printing of your firearm. Another way of doing it is to have shirts that have patterns that are that break up the outline of a gun. So plaids, certain kind of shirts with stripes or things like that, darker colors. All of this stuff will basically help you to conceal your firearm when you're out and about. So the speed of the draw, being able to deploy your pistol in the most efficient and quickest way possible, I think is important. Now, that being said, for your average concealed carry person, most people that conceal carry, they're going to die of old age never having pulled their gun ever in their lifetime, and that's the goal. That's something that you want to do. You never want to be in the legal or moral situation where you have to pull a gun and use it in any kind of situation. You want to be able to avoid any kind of situation that would require you to even get to the point where that even becomes a possibility. One of the aspects that I've noticed about carrying a concealed gun is that it makes you into a better person. And what I mean by that is that you react to things differently than you did if you didn't have a deadly weapon on your person that can get you in legal and financial trouble for the rest of your life. So there's no bravado involved anymore. There's no getting mad at people that do petty things to you. There's none of that because there's no thinking, like for example, if you're somebody who's in their late 20s, a little bit more hot-headed or athletic, they may have more of something to prove if somebody does something to them or steps up to them or something like that. There's more of an ego thing involved with a lot of people to where they want to instigate confrontations, or they want to defend their manhood or honor or whatever else BS that they're talking about. When you're carrying a gun on you, all of that goes out the window. None of that matters. Because why would you get into a physical altercation with somebody even if you're not planning to draw the gun? The fact that you have it on you and you're getting into a physical confrontation means that there's a gun in play. There's a gun in that situation. So just having that in your brain at all times means that you don't care about any of that stuff anymore. So if somebody cuts you off in traffic, it's, thank you, sorry, I'll go into the other lane. Somebody, bumps you or, calls you a name or says something like that, I don't want to have anything to do with it. Oh, I'm sorry, man, and you go in the other direction. Because at the end of the day, you don't think, oh, gee, could I have beaten that guy in a fight? Yeah, of course you could have. You're carrying a gun. So you're basically saving that person's life by not getting engaged with that. And you're saving your own life too. Because any kind of like bravado or false sense of, badassery or anything like that basically just puts you in prison or puts somebody in the grave. So it's not something that you fool around with. It makes you mature up pretty quickly. So just from a training standpoint, I'll talk a little bit about just the reload from appendix carry, because it's kind of a unique thing, because you have to defeat garment to get your reload. So I'm going to work with just the gun from Slide Lock. Basically, there's two ways I can do this. All right. Once I break my gun down to drop this magazine, this hand's going to go immediately down to my garment, defeat it. I'm going to be putting it up and then launching it back into the gun. So the way I've defeated my garment is I've basically, from my position, just come straight down, and I can flip it up, and I'm kind of pinning it here with my hand and pulling that gun out. My finger's indexed on the magazine, and I'm sticking it in here. So if I'm going to need this position again, all right, I'm firing here, and there's my reload. One of the ranges I frequent, they don't like me to do my reloads from out here because of berm issues, so they like me to index it, bring it down a little bit lower. You can do the exact same thing on this side here. We'll do a few of these reloads. So hopefully that's it. I covered just about all I wanted to cover about appendix carry from a concealed carry standpoint. I'll try to make some other videos just concerning some of the stuff that I see, what I've kind of gone through with concealed carry, what's helped me out the most with it, maybe some little bit of some prepping videos and stuff like that, just basic stuff. Like I said, this video is maybe not the best. I try to put as much as I can into it with the equipment that I get, so hopefully you guys like it. So that'll be about it. So that's really all it is. All I'm really going to do is just kind of load up my actual pistol, and we're going to go ahead and start the day. So I hope you enjoyed.